People are stupid and crazy because you don't understand them. When we come across information that contradicts our current beliefs, we tend to just write it off as stupid, crazy, wrong, etc. And that's because our mind is always filtering reality through our own level of consciousness, through our own beliefs, values, identity, morals, things like this. And the second we find something that doesn't line up with exactly what we think is true, good, and beautiful, we think of it as crazy, wrong, bad, ugly, evil. So the reason why people seem crazy is because they're very different from you. People have different early life socialization. They have different cultural backgrounds, different value systems, different social norms, different moral systems. They have different levels of consciousness, different stages of development, different personality types, different brains and brain chemistry. A lot of these kinds of factors really begin to shape up people and how they think, what they do, how they feel. And this leads to people being incredibly different. And once again, you're interpreting other people from the lens of your personality type, your beliefs, your overall consciousness. And when it's different from you to a substantial degree, you think of it as crazy, bad, stupid, and wrong, because your mind doesn't want to handle the nuance of the situation. It wants to find the easy way out. Your mind just wants to conserve energy. It doesn't want to take any time or attention or energy to actually figure out how things actually function in the world. It just wants to protect its own beliefs and think that it has everything already figured out. So it just attaches the label of stupid and crazy onto people and behaviors, norms, traditions, things like that, without actually really investigating why this is even the case. So I want to throw up some very radical examples of people who you probably think are bad, stupid, evil, and crazy, right? And I don't want you to get very reactive when I bring up these examples. There's good reasons for why I'm bringing out these specific kinds of people. So warlords, terrorists, dictators, murderers, rapists, right? These are the stereotypical people who we here in the Western world, I live in Canada, think of as evil or bad, or like they should be punished and shamed and condemned and locked in a cage in a prison for the rest of their life and thrown away. But consider the possibility that these people have very, very different early life socialization, very different levels of consciousness, very different brain chemistry. And I'm not excusing behavior of any kind. I'm not saying that like, oh, it's okay if we rape people. That's not even close to what I'm saying. I'm just explaining why they seem crazy, why they seem so insane and stupid from your point of view, and how it's not actually that they are insane or stupid. That's just a half-assed way of explaining why they are the way they are. The real reason is all of the factors that I keep listing. It's their overall consciousness, which can be roughly summed up to their identity, their beliefs, their values, their level of moral development, their level of psychological development, their brain chemistry and how their brain even works, and trauma that they've went through, and all of the cultural related stuff. So people are the way they are for very nuanced reasons, and our ideas of what good and bad are very relative. If you go to a tribal warlord somewhere in the jungle that we've never seen before, and he's invading the next tribe and killing a bunch of innocent women and children and men in order to take all their stuff, from the point of view of someone typically in Western civilization, that's brutal and that's very unfortunate, and I don't like that, right? But from the point of view of that tribal warlord, this is what he does to survive. This is what he does to feed his family and his tribe, which is perceived as good from his point of view because that's his level of consciousness. Once again, I'm not dismissing any kind of behavior. I'm also not judging anyone's behavior as good or bad. I'm not shaming anyone for being the way they are either. I'm just explaining why people actually are the way they are, and I keep using these radical examples so that you really get it. Because from minor everyday examples like, oh, this person likes cheese and I don't really like it, and I don't really like cheese, and oh yeah, maybe their taste buds kind of operate differently than mine. That's very innocent, and yes, but I really want you to look at this from a more global scale. Like, why do dictators seem horrible from the point of view of the typical Western mind? Why does that seem like a horrible, evil, bad thing to us? Why do we even interpret it like that? I'm not saying saying whether it's good or bad or evil. That's not even the argument that I'm putting out. I'm just explaining, why do we even see it like that in the first place? And is it actually bad or evil or stupid? Or is that just our interpretation of it? And just why are we thinking along those lines? Our minds play tricks on us. Our minds don't really want to understand all this complexity, all this nuance, all these cultural factors and what their childhood experiences were and what their early life socialization was and how their parents were and their trauma and their level of consciousness and their psychological development and their moral systems and their value systems and what they perceive their own identity to be. Our mind doesn't want to take any of that into account. God forbid we actually do any research of any kind into how anything works whatsoever. And instead, let's just attach the label of stupid and crazy onto it, and then we'll just kind of roll on with our day, because that saves a lot of energy. Because to actually read 200 books, yeah, that takes a lot. To actually figure out how things function and have nuance in your thinking and to be very non-reactive to people is very difficult. That takes a lot of personal development. That actually requires years of inner work, which most people want to bypass for good reasons, right? Everyone has their reasons. People act the way they act, and they have good reasons for it, just like you act the way you act and have very good reasons for it. So take that into account. Recognize that from the point of view of someone who you believe is stupid and crazy, they think you're stupid and crazy, right? So who's right? And don't take your own biases as just truth, right? Actually open up your mind. Let it be more flexible. Really try and understand how and why this even exists in the first place. How and why this even came to be in the first place. Don't just impose your beliefs and interpretations onto people and situations. Just chill out. Have a little bit of a detached point of view. Don't get so reactive. Oh, they're doing this and they're so horrible. Just try and understand how they are actually interpreting reality and why they are seeing it the way they are. And this doesn't mean that you'll get them to stop behaving the way they are and be more like you. That's not the goal here. The goal isn't to convert people to be more like you. The goal is understanding. The goal is gaining an accurate worldview and understanding of how things are actually functioning in the real world, aside from our beliefs, interpretations, our specific systems, our specific moral systems, value systems, belief systems, things like this, because we're constantly filtering reality through our overall consciousness, through our level of consciousness. And we're not seeing it very accurately because we're constantly filtering it. Our mind is always filtering it. It's not just like a clear window that we're seeing through. It's really unclear. It's got dirt on it. It's a cracked window. It hasn't been cleaned in like 20 years. It's like if I'm wearing these glasses and like I have my oily fingerprints on it and I've spit on them and I wiped them in the mud, and now I'm trying to look through the world with those glasses. I have to clean my glasses. Just like how we have to clean our mind's filters of reality and become aware of the fact that yes, we are constantly filtering reality through our own consciousness. We're not seeing it for what it is. That's it for this video. I'm doing one-to-one coaching. I have limited spots available. You can book a free call. Link is in the description. Other than that, check out my website. Everything's on there. Take it easy.